All right, good.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NORA broadcast booth for our second race of the day. We're back in cloudy, overcast, rainy South Florida, just about an hour and a half, probably, I think, outside of Miami, Homestead, Miami Speedway. We are joined here tonight not just with some new drivers on the racetrack, but some new faces in the broadcast booth. Joining me, as per the usual, is Josh Conover. But also tonight we have Christian Snyder and Blade Timmons. So why don't you boys say hi to the fans watching at home?
Race fans.
Hey, it's an honor to be here calling this race with you guys. It's going to be a fun one tonight, I have a feeling.
Absolutely. And of course, as we know, Josh is our man on the cameras. And of course, calling the race with me. So, oof. We're going to get this girl going here shortly. Jeff Gordon currently leading the way in practice. You can see as it rolls across the ticker at the top. I believe he had a great run in practice, and I think qualifying a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it didn't end well. So we'll see if that changes this week. But his teammate did, of course, go to victory lane 1 week ago, or not 1 week ago at this point, one race ago in Austin Powers. But he actually looks like he has some front end damage on that car, or in practice.
Well, Nick, we said earlier we had probably the best race of the year in the Xfinity Series. I know rain cleared out, track's got some rubber on it, and hopefully these guys can put on a good show. We got full field. Actually, we're sending 2 drivers home after qualifying, so that will be, I believe, a first actually for us here in the Sim Series stuff.
Cup Series, yes. We did actually, in fact, wrongfully send 4 drivers home in the Truck Series at Sebring.
Well, you learn.
We were under the impression that it was a 32 truck field. It turns out it is a 36 truck field, so we may or may not have sent 4 trucks home that didn't really need to go home. That, of course, will change moving forward because I believe we will have more than 36 trucks going forward.
I believe we will, some way, somehow, yes. A couple new guys here tonight to kind of give us our full field. And actually, he's driving for Outlaw Racing Inc. and Christian Snyder, the number 8 of Ty Dillon, sitting actually 8th place right now on the speed chart.
Well, yeah, that's a great way to enter into the series and practice. He's certainly looking like he's got something that he can put on there. And we've got Conrad Timmons in the number 23 Jack Daniels Ford Mustang. And he went 17th quickest in practice so far. Casey Kane kind of in the back there. That's for, I forget what the team name is.
Racing.
SW Racing. All right. That is a affiliate to the old Nightmare Incorporated team. And we've got Maddox Timmons and the old Ford Mustang. Why does that look weird? Did you put that on a Chevy? Did you accidentally put that on a Chevy?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Let's take a look at that from the chase cam or something. Because that looks like a Ford on a Chevy.
And it is.
I think we had one of those at Sebring as well, so it happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Might be an advantage, aero advantage.
I don't know. By the way that the practice times are looking, it doesn't look like he might be able to qualify in.
There's a little mishap there in practice. We had a rogue race reporter on the racetrack trying to get a fuel number for us, spun out and kind of hit him. But yeah.
By the way, you never did fix the other Chevy Ford issue.
What other one?
The 43. if you go look at the 43, I'm pretty sure I just saw it on a Chevrolet. It's supposed to be a Ford. Yep.
Got another doozy out there.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I think that one had the same issue when we were at Sebring. I think that was the one I was just talking about. So, as Cabre gets on the brakes, yeah, he almost collects De Benedetto there in the 19.
Pretty close call right there.
But De Benedetto is able to get around it. And, it's practice, but certainly avoiding those kind of instances, that's going to be huge.
Tell you what, the 11 was putting pressure here on the King, but seems like he's dropping down and maybe calling it in.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Usually, what we notice in the Xfinity race is once they drop below the gray area there on the inside of the corner where the rubber is, that's usually a good sign that they're coming to pit road. Because we got old Fireball Roberts looking to the inside of Marco Andretti and our Daytona 500
I think we're ready to get the show on the road. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm all ready for it.
Sounds good.
We'll have to keep an eye. Remember, 2 laps, normally just the 1, but 2 laps here. We'll actually ride along with our point leader, Mr. James Love.
Absolutely, sticking with the theme from the Xfinity race. 20th quickest in practice. We'll see what that equates to in the race. Is there was the sun, and there goes the sun.
So we'll get our ever famous drone out. Hey, at least it says overcast now.
Yep, and it's a bit cooler. So the world's fastest drone, as we've been calling it, is going to now follow around James Love.
It'll be interesting to see the 2 that go home. First time in the Cup Series we're sending people home. I know in practice earlier, I believe it was, I want to say Rusty Wallace and I think Kenseth that went home.
Yeah, and I believe that
Or what
some of those guys that were putting in the slow times in practice could have been headed by a whole multitude of things causing them to slow lap times, whatever it might be. But certainly now that it's nobody around them, clean track, we'll see maybe a huge difference in how some people run a lap. James Love's going to send it off into 1. Does a very good job of getting that thing close to that seam, but not quite as far down as I think we saw some of the Xfinity guys run in the first session. As we get one of the best cameras in the business.
Looks like he's running about a lane and a half up from the bottom.
Yeah, and you don't want to
notice the difference between trucks and Xfinity with that.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to be in the bottom lane at Homestead.
Definitely a momentum killer.
You can definitely see where that darker groove is where you want to be. If you get down underneath that dark groove, it is no good for your car.
As we do have a newcomer whose provisional pole through the first lap. He was slowest in practice, but he went
43rd to first, baby.
We'll see if it holds through the second lap. It is not going to hold on the second lap. It is going to hold on the second lap. I apologize. I forget that it does that.
Ty Dillon snuck in, had the pole for a second, and just like that, it went away.
And it looks like your 2 going home, Matt Kenseth and Clint Boyer.
And I think someone predicted Clint Boyer to be one of those.
I remember that.
Home.
I believe actually the 2 that went home are the 2 that both me Conover both agreed on.
So your point leader actually climbed to 5th on the second lap, so went from 7th to 5th.
And my boy Marco went from running way too fucking slow in practice to 8th. So I'll take it.
Take a look real quick at the. Oh, actually, here we'll just roll to the grid and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty impressive first start.
sitting on the pole of the Cup race.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pretty impressive.
That is
Couple
incredible.
drivers with an impressive first start.
Absolutely. Ty Dillon's right up there as well. P4.
What do you think, boys? Grab 10 at a time and just kind of alternate off?
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
With there only being 40 cars, everybody should get 10 cars.
Oh, that's a good point. Didn't even think about that. So I'm kind of hoping by DQing them before we went to the race that we'll be good to go and they won't grid. But we'll see
Should
what
be.
happens.
Should be. I think that's how it worked in the truck race.
So who was... I forget already. Slacking at my job. That's right, it was Maddox.
Max. Yep.
There we go. First race. First pole. Maddox Timmons. Newcomer. I believe, what is that? Timmons Motorsports you got there?
Correct, sir. That'd be my youngin.
So first race for Timmons Motorsports in the Cup Series, and they come out and grab the pole. Jeff Gordon, P2. Not that far off. Ryan Blaney, P3. Ty Dillon, also a newcomer, P4. James Love's going to roll off 5th, your point leader. Case Kane, another newcomer, 6th. Brad Kozlowski going to roll 7th. Andretti, 8th. We got Conrad Timmons, teammate to your pole sitter, in 9th. And Joey Logano, 10th. Nick, grab 11th.
Austin Cindric will roll off from 11th. Fireball Roberts in 12th. Last race's winner, Austin Powers, will roll off from 13th. In 14th, we'll see Boris Said. In 15th, we got Chubby Cheeks. 16th is Brian Powell. In 17th, we see first ever disqualification, Ricky Bobby. In 18th is Richard Petty. 19th is RHR, Ryan Hunter-Ray. And 20th is Carl Edwards. Christian or Blade, whichever one of you wants to go from 21.
I got it. 21st would be Robbie Gordon. Starting his outside is Chase Cabre. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. Inside of him on the other row is Jimmy Johnson. Outside is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Joshua Susi, Jeremy Mayfield are going to line up beside each other. Right behind them will be Robert, how you say that one? Kubica and Alexander Stats. Along behind them will be William Byron and Master Yoda.
And then one handed to Christian for the last 10.
Yeah, starting 31st, Sergio Perez, and outside of him, Martin Truex Jr. And behind them, Matt DiBenedetto, or DiBurrito, as he likes to be called. Alex Bowman to his outside. Jimmy Broadbent in 35th. Tony Stewart, 36th. Matt Orr, 37th. Sebastian Vettel clear back in 38th. Timmy Hill, 39th. And rounding out the field tonight, Rusty Wallace.
So, and just to make a fun note, I don't know which paint scheme it is, but one of the paint schemes that I have for Matt DiBenedetto does say DiBurrito on the inside name panel. I just thought that'd be a fun little thing to throw in there for if we ever get a in-car cam on that one. So, yeah, it says DiBurrito inside of one of his paint schemes. I don't remember which one.
Rolling on to the racetrack.
Absolutely.
Find
The pace
out
car.
if it's this one for you.
I don't think it is. I want to say it was the Napa one.
We're zooming out of the pits, boys.
I ain't lying.
And it is definitely not in this one. But I'm pretty sure it was in the old Napa one.
I'm curious to see how many laps it takes them to start running that wall.
I'm going to tell you probably never.
Oh, they don't never get up there?
No, one thing with the AI, they are very in tune to running the more dominant
line.
Yeah, you'll mainly see them around that bottom seam. When they get racy there in the beginning, though, in the practice earlier, they were 3, sometimes 4 wide. So we'll keep an eye on that.
We got time for the race analysis?
Very quickly as we're coming to green.
Very, very quickly. Where is it in here? Oh, there it is. 267 laps. Stages are 80, 160, and window is 55, 60. They're green.
And we are racing here in Homestead once more. Jeff Gordon's going to look to the outside of Maddox Timmons, and it's actually going to be, I believe it's Ryan Blaney, who's now maybe thinking about, do I want to make it 3 wide? You're damn right I want to. But
about the send into the corner.
clears and sends it in absolutely as they're getting nuts back here a little bit
Very
further back.
dicey.
Absolutely. And just as we said, Maddox sent it in. It looks like it cost him on the exit because here's Ryan Blaney just clearing through on the inside, and it opens the door for point leader James Love.
I mentioned, that practice they were getting racy, and there's a lot more rubber on the track than what the Xfinity guys had, but we've talked about it all the time. The smoothness rating, the aggressive rating, all that stuff coming into play. I think you're seeing it right now. The smoothness rating. Some of these guys getting a little squirrely.
Absolutely.
Just like we saw in the Xfinity Series lane, if you line up on that outside for the initial start, you just fall back. The inside has such an advantage on these starts.
3 wide already.
And who would have guessed it? But the first man ever disqualified from a NORA race officially, Ricky Bobby's the one who does it. Although here comes Marco Andretti sending it in there. But oh my word, I don't know what Ricky Bobby is doing there.
I know he can't hold a lane.
He got loose. He sent it in and just had to get checked up and got loose.
Well, certainly there's a reason that man was disqualified once before. I wouldn't put it past him to get disqualified at
He
some
was
point.
trying to calm down the cougar in the passenger seat.
Fair enough. What a battle! What a battle for the lead, though. We didn't really see this in the Xfinity Series race, but these guys are side by side.
Yeah,
And they're
Maddox
putting on a
fighting
show.
back.
We kind of talked about it for the Xfinity race, Nick, too. There at the end, more rubber laid down. Could we see that middle groove kind of come in to play with passing opportunities? I think you're seeing it right here. Maddox Timmons holding the outside, and then Ryan Blaney as well, and Jeff Gordon holding tough on the outside.
Absolutely.
I
And
think the
line
pass is
here.
going to get made here.
I think, it's going to be cleared, but you can see Blaney now under fire from not just Jeff Gordon, but his former teammate, at least in real life, as Logano decides he wants to send it 3 wide with his current teammate in Sim right behind him. Jeff's just going to fall in line, and Blaney's going to get a run on Timmons.
If you're James Love, that's exactly what you want. See these guys racing. It's what we saw earlier. I guess you can call it happy hour. Guys in second and third got battled, and the leader just took off, and that was all she wrote. So if you're Blaney and Timmons here, you want to get it sorted out, kind of somewhat get nose to tail, almost like you're racing Daytona, and try and run back down James Love.
Now, what we will see different from the Xfinity race, for sure, these guys cannot go a full stage on fuel. It's just not possible, and it's perfectly designed that way. I love that about this series, and I think it plays a bit more intrigue into the race itself.
Yeah, and with the pit window being 50 to 55, they could split this in half, but I think most of your cars are going to go the full fuel run. As we see, a car already in pit road here.
A little bit of rear damage.
Actually, there's quite a few on pit road that caught my eye on this timing and scoring. Don't know if
Let's see
we'll
what
be able to
happens
see.
here.
But it's himself, Matt Orr, and Sebastian Vettel are the 3 that are multiple laps down already.
And let's see if they towed, because if they had to tow for whatever reason.
Jimmy with the hip check.
Hip checks him. There's
and
Matt
a
Orr
hard crash.
and Sebastian Vettel. It looks like Vettel. Well, no, I think Vettel might have hit the barrier.
Yeah, I think he hit the tire barrier.
I believe they're all DNFs.
So with AI,
How is that not a caution?
They
Wow.
don't come back out.
Well, we kind of came to the rule that if they tow, DNF.
So to answer the
Okay.
question,
Okay.
they all towed. So
And that
we'll
means
do
that
this
they're all
real
DNF'd.
quick. Yeah, because what we
Or-
figured out at Daytona Blade, they'll get damage fixed and then come back out. When obviously if you tow in real life, you're done. So kind of just somewhat trying to keep that relevant for say.
Yep. Kind of keep it a little bit more like how it would be normally. Once you tow out, if you can't drive the car back to pit road, essentially, that's where NASCAR says, okay, you're done. So
It looked like Jimmy maybe just got a little bit tight, and that's what caused that one.
Absolutely, certainly a hip check, if you would,
Oh,
Yeah.
he
from
gave him
Jimmy
a hip
Johnson.
check.
And it looks like it hurt him just as much.
Yeah, he's the last car running right now. And you know, I talked about it more so in the Xfinity race too. You know, the smoothness rating, you know, affecting the handling of the cars, and you know, yeah, there's more rubber on the track, but I say too, the Cup Series is probably the widest variety as far as that smoothness rating. I think you saw it. I think there, you know, you're seeing both ends of it. You know, Christian pointed out Jimmy looked like he got a little bit snug in the middle of the corner and kind of just, for all intents and purposes, just hip checked poor Jeremy Mayfield. But I think you've seen both sides of it, and just guys getting loose as well.
Well, and to note, Jimmy Johnson has a 75 smoothness, so that is on the tight side. And what I kind of noticed just looking at the smoothness listings of the drivers overall, pretty much everybody in the series is on the tight side.
Yeah, I think there's
Save
like a select
for a
few
handful
that
of drive
are.
view.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that it makes a huge difference. I know what I kind of pointed out. It seemed like at least in the Xfinity race, the two guys that went front row were the two guys with the lowest smoothness. So certainly, I think the smoothness definitely plays a factor into your top couple guys in qualifying. Which to note, you know, our front guys are some of the lower ones in smoothness. So from qualifying, so
Which that'll be
it's
interesting to
certainly, I think,
see, you know, through the year if that lower smoothness, you know, leads to, you know, better
race
qualifying.
wins.
Well, and race
Absolutely.
wins for that matter too.
Mm-hmm. As Josh Susi, who I would say he's had some good runs the last two races. I think he ran very well at Sebring. I know. I think he got involved in a wreck at Daytona, but he's mired back in this pack pretty deep. As is Fireball Roberts, who we know, I think, won stage 1 at Daytona. Then he had some issues. He was in it, though, and then he did a decent job through Sebring for a good while.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a long way to go. I mean, you're only 15 laps into this first stage of 80. And I believe you had mentioned it when we first went green. You know, you're going to have to make a pit stop, which, you know, we kind of had a little variety in the Xfinity race earlier. I believe the top two all pitted together, and then everybody else came in the next lap. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that strategy plays out. As, like I had mentioned, you know, the leader kind of gets single filed out and can kind of start gapping the field, and James Love has done exactly that for the most part.
And I have to say that Ricky Bobby is the surprise of the race so far.
A couple of the new
He's
guys.
definitely moving through the field.
You know, you got
Well,
Maddox in second.
But in comparison to their skill rating, is what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
He's certainly been, in comparison to his skill rating, the surprise of the field, much like Jeb Burton was in the Xfinity race. So, we've got, you know, just everybody kind of finding with their groove, finding where they want to be. Chase Gabriel in serious need of points at this point in the season. Certainly, just a sole
finish
9.
This point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't believe he's finished either race. He's at least looking better than he has the first 2 races so far. So, as these guys got a big run on Ryan Hunter-Ray there. Don't know what happened to him coming off of that corner, but he slowed up big time.
One thing too to notice, more so from the Xfinity series to now, like I have the timing and scoring up. There's battles all over the racetrack, like to the point where I can't click through fast enough to get the camera on them. But it, you know, I look over and I constantly just see dashes, meaning guys are side by side battling, and it's what you want to see. Again, could it be, you know, that rubber that's been laid down from earlier, allowing these guys more, you know, space on the racetrack? There might be 3 wide heading to 3.
Or could it be the package of these cars in comparison to the Xfinity cars?
All questions we hopefully will find the answer to as this race goes on.
And as the season goes on for some of them. Certainly the package one, I got to say, is more seasoned.
That's Kubica kind of taking a higher arc. I haven't seen that one before.
No, and it doesn't look like it helped him much either. James Love continues to lead. We're already 20 laps into this thing, so they're clicking off laps quick. But I don't really think he's driven away from Maddox and Blaney. If anything, I think they might be starting to come back closer.
Yeah, they definitely are working together to close that gap there.
As the rivals now, what has to be even funny about that is that Kozlowski's no longer in his own number. Makes the pass on his old car number. As Austin Cindric drives the 2 for JCR or JRC. JC? No, I think I had it right the first time.
You're right the second time, JRC.
Is it JRC?
Yeah. We're going for a youth movement. You know, Brad was a free agent. We could have picked him up, but we're going for somewhat of a little youth movement over here. You know, trying to develop the new guys.
As Blaney's looking to the inside of Maddox. Is he going to be able to get
here?
Something done here? Maybe. It is the high line getting it done there.
Yeah,
Either it was the high line or he just fully blown sent that thing in there.
Yeah. I
And he
think
certainly
he's
has
coming
been.
in.
Absolutely, and he's certainly been more aggressive than pretty much anybody when it comes to sending it in like that.
Interesting to note too, you know, we kind of pointed out in the Xfinity race how Leroy Jenkins kind of ran maybe like half a car off that seam. It almost looks like James Love, at least from our drone footage here, he's doing the same thing, at least in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 are a little bit lower, but still not so much right on that seam like we would have expected.
No, they're certainly running a little bit higher than I thought they would. And maybe that's a little bit of the smoothness rating. I'm not sure. Maybe that's however the cars are set up. What is going to be really interesting to me is the transition into nighttime. I believe Blade said it earlier before the broadcast that, you know, as we know, as the nighttime comes, the cars get tighter. So how is that going to affect these guys through the race?
I mean, we can obviously use our, I'll call it real NORA experience. You know, track gets cooler, you know, going to the nighttime like that. Guys that typically like, you know, a tighter race car or truck or, you know, whatever series you're in, definitely benefit from that. But you almost kind of wonder with the AI, you know, knowing, which, you know, Christian and Blade are kind of learning now with what we already knew. You know, they're not really going to move around the track. You know, they're going to stay right on that seam, maybe half a car up off that seam, and, you know, just kind of roll with what they got, so to speak. So, you know, maybe a lower smoothness rating, free the car up for right now. You know, it might be a little free right now, but maybe once the track cools off and that sun goes down completely, you know, maybe it'll help them out.
I was definitely noticing about that smoothness rating while we were riding on with Blaney, and we were watching the back end of Maddox run around the track. I definitely noticed every single corner, tail end wanted to get loose on him. So it could be multiple drivers like that out there, which could switch things up when the track cools off.
So you'll notice he is disqualified. I was just about to point that out. Matt Orr coming back around, he's going to come back down. These guys, as they finish their repairs, they technically have to finish the lap that they're disqualified on, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why you'll see them come back out. So I just wanted to note that. As Ty Dillon currently holds that final stage point, though. So certainly a good outing, his first time out. You know, looking like he might be able to get a stage point here. It's obviously still very early, and as we know, has played a big factor in every race we've done except for the road courses.
Yeah, I'm going to watch whenever the nighttime comes because his smoothness rating is pretty high, and as we see, the 12 underneath the 7 again. I don't know if it's going to work out. He's tried this 3 times.
I was seeing a little smarter. I noticed in 1 and 2 he pushed him up the hill a little bit there, and it worked for him that time.
Yep, I believe he was a little bit further ahead of him that time going into 3, and it kept Maddox from being able to just send that thing in there. Because Ricky Bobby now looked at the inside of Austin Cindric.
Here's the question. Now that Blaney was able to get around Maddox, can he track down the leader?
Absolutely. I hope somebody catches him.
I know even with that pass, he still ran a faster lap. Lied, a little bit slower. Love was an 8.65. Blaney was an 8.82. The gap, about 0.8, so we'll see what happens now that he's, you know, had a full lap clear. and see what he can
Maddox
put.
isn't done.
It's kind of like what Nick said too. Could it be the package? I think I'm not sure actually what package. I guess the high is the big spoiler, so I'm guessing it's the lower horsepower, higher downforce package. I would assume.
That's what it seems like.
And he's already clicking off better lap times. James Love 32.889 to Blaney 7.77.
So definitely
10th faster.
He's definitely running faster. He's looking a little bit better, maybe. We'll see if he can't get there. But what I want to know is, where is the last place car? Who's last on track? And where are they?
Really not as far back as I'd think. It's been Jimmy, and I've kind of been watching it, and he's only 15 seconds behind these guys. So basically half a track, give or take, a little bit.
And I definitely have to think that the aero damage that he received from, that hip check certainly is just killing him, because he is definitely not the skill rating to be that guy all the way back there. But he is. So it's got to be
definitely affecting him.
Well, you got to remember too. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning. We're halfway on a fuel run. It's about 58 laps to be exact. So I expect lap 57, 58 for guys to come pitting, especially since we haven't really seen too much variety per se. So I mean, you're over halfway. That's going to play a factor too. Does he get that damage fixed, or do you kind of just pit and try and get out as soon as you can and not maybe lose a lap if you haven't already?
Absolutely, especially knowing that there's a stage, but we don't know what the AI's thinking is going to be on that, as we've got the pass there. It looked like, I think, or at least maybe a hold off, maybe. I'm not really sure what the decision there was between, I think it was Chubby Cheeks and Cindric.
I noticed too, we looked a couple laps ago, Cindric was under fire from, I believe it was Ricky Bobby. He held him off and has actually gapped him a little bit and started to come back towards Chubby Cheeks and Brad K.
And Brad gets a little bit loose there coming out of 4. We're going to see maybe a challenge on the high side. Yep. But I don't think it's going to get done, and I think this is going to now open the door for Cindric. He certainly looked like he might try to go under, but he's actually going to back out of it, and now Ricky Bobby's going to have a run at him, more than likely.
Yeah, that caused him to lose a lot of momentum.
I ain't lying.
This high downforce, low horsepower package, it provides absolutely. It's all about momentum, and it provides some good racing. But just sometimes, I don't know. Some of the things that happen with it kind of sucks a little, but.
Chubby Cheeks with a big pull off the corner there.
Yeah, Keselowski's having a handful right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was a little loose there or if he just checked it up. Ricky Bobby looking to the outside of Cindric. Wow, that would have been a move if he actually would have done that. And you see Austin Cindric now look to the inside of Brad Keselowski. Chubby Cheeks, or not Chubby Cheeks, Ricky Bobby's going to look to the inside of both of them.
Real quick here, look off in the distance. You see a white car. He has closed the gap to James Love.
Absolutely. Ryan Blaney is knocking on the door here for the lead in this race. And
I feel like he's going to try one at the one here.
Absolutely. This high drown.
There it goes.
High drown.
A little bit of a block.
Yeah, a little bit of a block there.
Maybe a little bit of a shove from Blaney.
He's going to try.
Lost the momentum. He needs to fall back in line and pick that draft up.
Yep.
That's what he's going to do here.
These bigger spoilers punch a much larger hole in the air and certainly give you a lot more draft. Now, that was a really interesting move from Blaney, and I didn't think we saw that the whole Xfinity race.
Well, to be fair, we also haven't seen this good a battle in the whole Xfinity race, as Cindric is now clear Keselowski as well. But this is definitely going to give the Xfinity race a run for its money if it can keep it up throughout the rest of the race.
Absolutely. Certainly the intense factor of the Xfinity race were on the restarts, where they had some great moments. We'll see what happens with the stages here, but obviously the racing has been great. The passing or the pit stops in each stage that are going to happen.
I'm
are
ready
going to
for
play
those.
each factor.
Yeah, I'm ready to see how that shakes up the stage
What a
finish.
pass there.
Absolutely. But it looks like
WT
it's not
getting by
over.
Jeff Gordon.
It doesn't look like it's over. Jeff Gordon's not going to go away easy. But I think, and I don't think these guys are going to run as hard. You know, obviously they don't know their teammates, but we know their teammates. So that's the two Susie cars battling it out there, and certainly kind of keeping themselves clean a little bit.
Tell you what,
looks like
Ty Dillon has come up and joined this 4-car battle now, and it looks like the 23 now going to join it, and it's going to become a 5-car battle.
yep. And Conrad looks like he's going to probably get the advantage on the underside of Ty Dillon here, maybe. But that high line is working in this race.
Very effective. Keep the momentum coming off corner exit there.
Absolutely. That's one of the few times I've seen that high line work really well. It was just right there.
And with Ty Dillon's smoothness, with him being on that outside, that's going to be good for him.
It's almost one of those things, Nick. I think we touched on it more so. Might have been back at Daytona. You know, maybe it was one of the races we did already. Obviously, you know, AI is still kind of relatively new. I mean, yes, it's been out for quite a while, but you know, they're still trying to work bugs out. Like, you know, one of the issues they had, I think, was on the restarts. Kind of just hooked to right and kind of killed themselves, for lack of better words. But you know, it is one of the things they continue to work on. You know, maybe the line or differentiating. You know, tracks like Homestead, where you typically see guys run the fence. You know, maybe they keep adjusting that to where it works.
The Bitsa is.
You got to go where they aren't. That's what I was always taught.
Yep. And certainly, as we look to see Fireball Roberts look to the inside of Marco, and Ryan Hunter-Ray is looking to the inside of Fireball Roberts.
Ryan Hunter-Ray almost got into the back of Fireball there.
Yeah, this group, I think, has just been a giant cluster the whole race, just battling it out. These 5-6 guys.
Another under the lead here.
He's making an attempt at it. He's looking at that
what a
same
run.
move.
A little bit of a side draft there, possibly.
And you know who's loving what he's seeing? Maddox Simmons.
Absolutely. Watching the race, try to close the gap there. Ooh.
And I think
they're going to give it to him there. That caused James to check up.
I don't think either one touched, really. I think
they got close.
I think they did get close, but I think James Love kind of saw the car getting closer and just kind of gave him a little bit more room. That's all it is. Whew. But that was enough to give Blaney the lead. As we follow along with the world's fastest truck.
We'll have to
Blaney's
see.
Just going to set sail here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You know, if that happens. You know, I had mentioned it earlier, and I guess we'll call it happy hour. Once the leader kind of got out front and not really battled, and they drove away. James did the same thing. Blaney got the second and ran him down. So will James, you know, have a counter, you know, attack per se, or will Blaney kind of set sail? But big question too. This isn't, you know, the Xfinity and Truck Series. You don't, you know, start your stage and, you know, just run it green to checker without any cautions. So you're gonna have a pit stop here in about 15 laps or so.
5 laps. I think we said.
Yeah, I'm gonna say more than 5 laps. I'm thinking about 10 laps here for the pit stops.
I think they could start as early as 5 laps.
They could, yeah. I mean, the window's open right now to make it to the end of the stage, for sure.
The only downside there is these guys don't know when the stage ends. I wish they did. That'd be great.
That'd make everything a lot better.
Yeah, if we had stages, there's so many things that iRacing could implement and make things awesome. Not just in AI, but in hosting and everything. But certainly, you know, we do what we got. We deal with what we can, and it's gonna be Gordon now. Lost the spot to Cinder.
Mm-hmm.
He is dropping. But I tell you who's not dropping. Ty Dillon, he's up to 7th now.
Also, what I'm noticing, with the exception of Ty Dillon, the Chevys, for the most part, are kind of losing their luster as the one goes on.
Tell you what, I'm looking at lap times this last time by, more so for anything. Ryan Blaney, 32.7, the only driver in the 32.7s. And the next closest was actually Ricky Bobby with an 8:43. Everybody else 33 and above.
Wow.
So even that
So-
time by right there, obviously the 8:89 by Blaney, James Love a 33 flat, Maddox Timmons at 33, and then Chubby Cheeks at 32.9, Cindric at 32.8. Everybody else again 33s and above.
So it's looking like certain drivers are really keeping a hold of their tires a bit better than others, and you're seeing it as the run goes on. Is now Ricky Bobby is looking at the inside of Jeff Gordon. Somebody I said, I just mentioned people saving tires better than others. It looks like Jeff Gordon's 8 through his.
Just keep an eye on where our last guy's at here.
I don't know that they're going to lap him.
They'll
Yeah, we
need-
still got pit stops and everything, so I don't know if he'll necessarily go a lap down.
It's all going to depend on that the pit crew. We saw last race; it pretty much decided the ending of that
The
race
weight.
for the most part until Harvick got back to him. But we're expecting 5 to 10 laps here, so pit crews be
Yeah,
ready.
Speaking of pit stops, don't forget, I saw the Xfinity Series race. Jeb Burton's stop. That cost him a lot of position. So if someone has a stop like he did, whoo boy.
You could almost argue
Absolutely.
it costing the race.
Yeah, he had to fight his way the whole rest of the race.
Yeah.
And
What
even
was it?
the
A 26-second stop?
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
was.
believe so.
It was a long stop. It was ridiculous, and we've already had a word with the pit crew. They didn't explain to me what happened. All I said was it better not happen again.
'Cause this is a battle for your final stage point. It's Conrad Timmons looking to steal it from Brad Kay, and he might do it with ease.
Oh,
We might have sent him a little too deep there and got tight.
And
that's
somebody
that aggression level.
we haven't really talked about. I don't think he started too well.
That
But he's
optimism.
in the stage points now. Austin Powers.
Oh wow, yeah, here.
Quiet day for sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where he started, but I don't believe it was inside of the top 20.
I don't know if this actually will work. No, it doesn't. Okay.
Oh.
So I'll have to get Alex to mess around with that hopefully here at some time. But yeah, I'm not
fighting back on the inside
100%
here.
sure where he started, but I would say right now your biggest,
Mover possible.
but biggest surprise too to touch on, and he ain't
Ricky
done yet.
Bobby. No, he's now looking at Austin Cindric. So he is flying the flag of the Toyotas. If you had Ricky Bobby as your pick for top finishing Toyota in fantasy, you're looking like a genius right now.
Fastest car on the track, by the way. 32.7 to Blaney's 32.9 last time by. And then again, like I said, everybody else in 33s. Even this time, Blaney in 8.81 to Ricky Bobby's 8.37.
And that's because he was in traffic too. He was working his way around Cindric. So, I mean, if he wasn't working his way around Cindric, I think he would have been faster than Blaney that lap.
Absolutely, and it's almost funny to see. This man was disqualified from Daytona for reckless driving. And is now
Endangerment to other competitors is more like it.
Yep, it's exactly what he was disqualified for.
He just
And,
wanted to go fast.
Oh, he did that.
He did that. And he didn't have a great Sebring race. Kind of put some people in some problems on the opening lap of the race.
Conrad's looking to the inside here.
And he might be able to get this done on Austin Powers. Here comes Brad Kay diving through there. And wow, Conrad muscling it on the inside. Kind of just forcing Austin Powers up on that high line.
Yeah, just did the same thing that Blaney did to Maddox Timmons. Or not Maddox Timmons, the 21.
James Love.
James Love, yeah.
As Ty Dillon looked to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Nothing there for him. And I got to assume we're getting closer on pit stops.
Yeah, we
Oh.
Kind of expected the window 55 to 60, but I would imagine either this time by or, you know, maybe one more come in on lap 58. But we'll keep an eye out right here. It's coming down the stretch.
So we'll see.
Quick,
what
where is
Ryan
Johnson
Blaney
right now? He's only a corner ahead.
Well, he might
Johnson's
he might
damage
not
is
make it out of
definitely
this stage. Yeah.
So Blaney's going to stay.
The more right side damage you have, the more it's going to affect your right side tires. The more you're going to fall off, and it's really starting to affect him the longer he stays out there.
Absolutely.
Looks like everybody's staying.
As the guy who's really having the day he needs to, I think, Chase Cabray. Just now getting around Casey Kane, newcomer, but Chase Cabray on the high side, getting around Casey Kane to get to 13. Certainly, this man, I was saying, he needs the points. He's got to get the points. He only had 9 points coming into this race through 2 races. He scored all of 9 points. And they are pushing it. For sure. William Byron now looking to challenge Carl Edwards.
I'm actually
Oh,
surprised.
And what's going to be the decision here? I have to wonder if they're not just all going to come at the same time, essentially.
He's going to stay again.
Thing.
Yeah, he's staying out again.
I mean, they might push it to the absolute limit here. I mean,
Might get a fuel number. I was under the impression it was 55 to 60, but apparently my source lied to us.
He's fired.
Unless they pit here.
I ain't
Ricky
looking like
Bobby on the move again.
this man has put on a charge.
I'm not even going to worry about looking for pit stops. That's going to happen when it happens.
Absolutely, and it ain't this time.
Interesting.
As what's also funny, I don't know if anybody else noticed it there. I just noticed it because we're talking about pit stops. Right as where they come into pit stops on their green flags, there's a lot of rubber built up there from where they keep locking the tires.
So I want to point out too, Cindric got around Gordon and just, for lack of better words, left the man.
Yeah, like I said, the Chevy's kind of fallen off as it's gotten later into the run, but look right there. This is a dark spot right where they come down on the pit road. It's so funny.
They're making sure they got enough traction to get it woed down.
Well, they certainly lock up the tires enough to put rubber down there.
So one thing here, being they're going longer than we
62
expected,
Yeah.
what's it going to do at the end of the stage?
Yeah, it's certainly going to see a lot different of the.
Oh, here they come.
As there it is, but there is still some variation as Maddox Timmons stays out. It's just the 2 leaders.
man.
Yeah, we could see some varying strategies at the end of the stage here. Some people might stay out, 2 tires, fuel only. Could see some varying strategies.
Will Ricky Bobby lead his first ever lap? Maddox
So we
Timmons
only had
was
2
coming in.
people pit that last time, kind of like the Xfinity race, was Blaney and James Love.
And Maddox is definitely coming in. It doesn't look like
Ricky
Bobby
is not, and he's going to lead his first
Ricky
lap.
is going to lead his first career
Cindric
lap.
stays as well.
Yep.
So does Ty Dillon.
And Ty Dillon.
Now, what's
Actually,
smart for these guys is maybe 4 tires now and fuel only at the stage break.
So looking at the pit stops, Blaney is 16.2, Love a 14.8. So we would imagine, obviously, 4 tires and fuel is 3 guys on pit road now, being Maddox, Timmons, Gordon, and Chubby Cheeks.
As it looks like Cindric's coming down. I'm not sure if Ricky Bobby is. He is as well. Here he comes. Really getting it down in there. I'm surprised these guys haven't. There's the lockup.
So now the question will be, as we actually had an 8.9. Oh, never mind. Still on the pit road. It was just updating. Well, there goes Blaney. So your clear winners as of right now, Blaney and James Love.
With that short pit, it's gonna get you almost every time.
And right now, Blaney actually the slowest stop, so he lost a lot of time. Well, actually, a lot. Gordon and Chubby Cheeks, 18-second stops.
And I'm wondering who is our leader now with all of these cycle throughs. Fireball Roberts,
who actually stayed out again. So 14 people have
Come
not
in
pitted yet.
mid-time.
He's coming in this time. Let's
Yeah,
see who else.
absolutely.
Looks like there's RHR, Kubica,
But
pretty
imagine
much
it's
Another car is
everybody.
staying out here.
everybody else. Yeah,
Oh no, that's scored.
yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah, here they
RHR
go.
Yep, it's everybody
Everyone
else.
Yep. Everybody else that pitted has not pitted. Sorry, is coming in. This will cycle through to Blaney. So
Looking
believe
good
this
for
time
Blaney
by.
to win this stage.
Well, it's like Christian said though. 2 tires, no tires, just fuel. I think it's clear James Love, as of right now, this time of day and where the track's at right now, obviously, in my opinion, the best car on fresher tires. But as soon as they start to wear in, I think Blaney is kind of where he's at right now. Will have the upper hand.
And you just saw it there. Blaney got around Checo. So now Jimmy Johnson, who is a lap down, is not going to get the free pass.
Yeah, Jimmy back here. Sorry, so the next car would be Jimmy Broadbent. Never mind. So the guys that stayed out late.
He's going all right, man.
So all these
Lot
cars
of
coming
cars.
off pit road that stayed out the longest.
This is going to be very interesting on the stage restart.
Oh yeah, we thought the Xfinity one was good.
Yeah, with just 2 cars.
Fireball
now.
Roberts in risk of going a lap down.
Right now, 8 cars, 1 lap down. Fireball being the next one. And then actually one of
And
your
you know
guys, Matty D.
Yep. But you know who's going to be in the most pressure problem situation right now? James Love. Because he is right in the middle of all of the lap cars.
Yeah, and these aren't slow lap cars. These guys are decent lap cars.
The Cup
They're not
Series,
the
arguably, it's the hardest series with lappers. I mean, there's no real slouch. I mean, granted, they're not hundreds like most of the field, but they're no slouches. They're not, 75, 70 rating. Yeah.
Or Rico Abreu's.
Mm-hmm. You can just see, though, you just see that white car, Ryan Blaney, just driving off in the distance.
And you can see why. Blaney only has the 1 car in front of him. Look, Maddox is having a battle. Jimmy Johnson.
These pit stops separated
You
the
gotta be
entire
careful
top
there.
5.
Last person who was beside Jimmy Johnson got a door.
You're not wrong.
I will say that these guys are driving their cars really aggressive. They definitely, in my opinion, I think took tires.
Yeah,
I could be
and-
wrong
and-
because right now, look at the previous laps. They're only on lap 7 of this run, and they're already about a second off their best times.
Well, maybe they. I don't know. Maybe they're getting a little bit easier. Maybe there's too much rubber. I couldn't tell you.
But you know the old saying, like, drivers are going to say tires, 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 but crew chiefs are going to say, fuel only. It's a better option. So, I don't know what the strategy is going to be for the AI whenever they come in.
I can't imagine tires or not taking tires after a full fuel.
So
Yeah,
here's your
for
battle
sure they all
for the
took
lucky
tires.
dog, by the way.
And it's not just a battle for the lucky dog, because as you can see, Alexander Satz, the 55, says, I'll just do it myself.
Which again, he's on fresher tires. He's on 6 laps on his run. Blaney 9. So only 3 laps. But if Blaney came out and went for it and pushed hard, it's a lot of time you're going to be giving up.
Absolutely. Alexander Satch and now Ryan Powell as well, just kind of basically saying here, why wait on NORA to give me my lap back? I'll do it myself. I'll get it back right now.
The crazy part for me too, even with all this, James Love nowhere in the vicinity to take advantage of Blaney kind of somewhat getting held up.
And even Blaney getting passed.
I think story of the day though, this man right here.
Yeah, you love to see it or you hate to see it. Ricky Bobby certainly having a moment right now.
Well, he's got to be upset, though, because if you ain't first, you're last. So right now, he's last.
Fair point on that one.
You're not wrong.
This actually was a battle, and now it's not anymore. But one of the guys I believe we thought was going to go home kind of showing us up. Granted, 3 guys DNF'd early, but he's still not running last.
No, he is not. But you know, you got Jimmy Johnson with some damage there. He ain't looking too hot back here.
He's trying to unlap himself from someone on his former team.
Yeah, well, not entirely. JRC is a little bit of a mix of all things. But certainly, maybe somebody on his former team in real life.
Kind of interesting to me, at least. You know, Blaney obviously drove away from James, still maintaining basically a 2-second gap, even with battling these lappers like this. But guys like Rusty Wallace, Alexander Stats, Timmy Hill, BP, able to get to Ryan Blaney and just drive around him basically. He's got 2 teammates here battling for 21st.
Yep, the old Nightmare Boys are at it again. Kubica
Almost
versus
contact.
Ryan Ray. Yeah, they know better.
They get a good whooping after the races if they do something wrong.
Nah,
So they're not
Ryan
like
Ray.
Keselowski and Logano in real life?
Ryan Hunter Ray might. Kubica's kind of the golden boy at the team. He can do no wrong.
What a surprise.
The old Polish connection. But Sergio Perez and Tony Stewart have been side by side for laps now, and are just kind of like, well, you see, Blaney, we want our lap back before the stage.
Yeah, we want to, be able to pit with you and be able to compete.
I think they're probably going to get it. You know who's going to be the lucky dog? Jimmy
B.
Broadbent. Yep. I don't think he's got enough time to come back up here and run these guys down. As well, there goes Checo, kind of getting a run and then getting held up just slightly.
So I pointed it out. They're only going to have Blaney and James Love the most because they pitted first. Still have 17 laps on their tires as we come to the white flag here in stage 1. Will they pit? Obviously, you have to pit regardless in this stage, but do you kind of top off here, get a fresh start for the second stage, or do you stay out and pit a little bit sooner in stage 2?
I'm not really sure as Checo looks to the outside of Ryan Blaney, and he's going to get his lap back, now putting Tony Stewart in the lucky dog spot. But yeah, I don't know what the strategy call here is. Tony's going to send it in here. He's got one last chance to get it before the end of the stage. And he's just not going to get there. Just barely.
Almost.
What a job there right at the end, though. You have plenty of credit to Smoke.
I believe first stage win of the year for Ryan Blaney. Actually, any JRC driver in the Cup Series.
I think you need JRC driver, period.
That also is probably true. So that will mean Tony Stewart gets his lap back. So Jimmy B and Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, nope. You had Rowdy Burns on the stage at Daytona, I believe.
Right. So,
But
still
it
one
is
of the first
definitely
ones,
your,
but
it is a first in the Cup Series.
well, we're checking up, boys.
Oh, that's going to be the pace car. All these guys are going to go around it. Up until Blaney.
So I would say the biggest mover from pit stops, though, I forget where he was running, but I don't think it was 11th.
I think it was...
He was
13th.
14th.
14th,
14, 13th, yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
So from the looks of it, these guys are going to come back down pit road.
And it looks like Tony Stewart's staying out. He's going to get that wave around. As is Jimmy B.
Well, he would get
And
lucky
Jimmy
dog
Johnson.
regardless.
Well, yeah. But Jimmy B is going to get the old wave around, as is, it looks like Jimmy Johnson.
So to
Curious
answer
all
to
my
these
see
question,
guys-
who gets off pit road first.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
See whose pit crew can
Ryan Blaney hold the lead off of pit road?
put in the work here.
if I'm going off the Xfinity race, no. But to answer my question, everybody back down pit road.
Oh, Jeff Gordon with a A weird angle might hold up Blaney.
Here they come.
And it looks like Blaney is going to be able to hold on.
Yeah, he's going to defend it.
James Love gets out second. Maddox, Cindric, Dylan, Cheeks, Bobby.
Bobby with a very slow stop.
What was that stop time on Maddox there, Conover?
17 even. To Blaney's 14-1 and Cindric's 14-8, and actually James Love 13-9.
Oof.
Cabaret with a 14-1.
And he gets into the top 10 with that.
Oh my goodness. I'm just going to flip this over, let you boys look at this beautiful pit time.
Oh!
Whoa-wee. I hear you, Susie, if
Alrighty.
you're watching.
He got on his picture, that's for sure.
Susie said, I'm tired of running in the back. We need to get a pit crew to get me up towards the front so I can get some points here. So, back to my statement, I think it was right after the original pit stops. Early in the run, fresh tires. James Love, in my opinion, best car on the track. Kind of drove away from the field and, you know, showed his dominance in a sense. But, looking where he's at now, do we kind of see a reverse thing? Does Blaney being out front kind of give him the edge? Or, you know, will James take over the lead again and kind of drive away? Or, if you look at third, it's kind of been up front the whole time, but Maddox, Cindric fourth now, Ty Dillon fifth, or even Ricky Bobby, as close as he's been to the front as far as a restart's concerned. Will he have something to say about this?
Well,
Honestly,
certainly.
man, I think Blaney and Love are going to fall back because what I did notice in that first stage, Maddox was super aggressive. And they sat back and kind of rode, and I think that's what hurt Maddox in the long run. So I think that's going to play out the same as far as Maddox dropping back and them two excelling.
Well, what is going to play a much bigger factor is the way the restarts are done.
This is true. This is new for you guys, but obviously, again, we know what's going on. With the AI,
They have some problems when there's lap cars.
yeah, so instead of doing the double file lappers to the back, it tended to create some carnage for guys that didn't deserve it. And this right here, kind of the old school way, was the best way we could do it.
This
So-
definitely
Yeah, I
should be
saw this in
interesting.
the Xfinity series.
Yes, so the Xfinity race, I would say right about the Cindric area, Ty Dillon, you get a good restart and they would jump to the bottom. Obviously, being AI, we've proven they don't know what they're doing. But do they get held
Which
up
is
in
what
turn
makes
one?
them great.
It makes for interesting restarts. We saw in the Xfinity series Kyle Busch send it on the outside and pass about 5 cars.
Which I'm gonna,
Absolutely. This is
So-
where
do we go along with Ty Dillon here because he's in the spot where the guys would typically get caught up, or do we go with the man of the first stage and ride along with Ricky Bobby?
I say let's ride along with Ricky Bobby. See what he's going to do.
I agree.
This is a wild man.
It's going to definitely shake it up. I wouldn't expect a single file. So
I mean, your best spot, at least with this little bit of lappers, would be obviously the top 2, maybe top 3, but we'll see. We're about to go back green flag.
So, and there goes Dylan to the inside, and here goes Ricky Bobby with him. Will Ricky Bobby make
three
this
wide
lead?
of them.
Absolutely, they are. Maddox is looking to the inside of James Love.
With 3 wide
And
right here,
I believe
too.
they're 3 wide right here as well. Yes.
Looks like that middle lane's making a hard push.
The lap cars are not holding up as much as we thought they would.
Yeah, they're actually, and this is again that Cup Series thing. The Cup cars.
Cabaret getting
So
aggressive.
good. Look at Chubby Cheeks sending it 3 wide.
This is totally something we don't. Wow, Richard Petty actually lifted. I think the AI knew how to do that.
Very hard check up there.
Oh, we see.
King needs to put his glasses on and realize somebody's to the outside of him.
And here comes Ty Dillon. We should have rode along with Dylan. It looks like because he's looking to take second.
So Blaney got clear. This is going to be huge for these guys to get clear of Jimmy Broadbent as soon as they can. Look at James Love. Second place back to 7th right now.
All because he is stuck behind Jimmy Johnson.
And from 5th to 2nd, Ty Dillon.
And look who's also coming up through this little
Kobe's
group
making a
here.
run.
Chase Cabrera.
Josh Susie as well. He's made his way into the top 10.
Told you
We
he
talked
wanted that
about
pit stop.
He wanted that pit stop, and he got it. As
Got-
Jimmy Johnson really
Wow,
roared
Jimmy.
Ricky
Oh
Bobby.
man, is he
Jimmy
gonna
full
door slam
send.
another guy?
And they're 3 wide behind him between Conrad, Casey Kane, and Joey Logano.
I think it'd be safe to say if you body slam Ricky Bobby, he might be on fire. So that might be a little something to keep an eye on. Is Cindric gonna send it to the outside of Susie and Jimmy? Hopefully.
Not 2
Petty.
cars off. Right
Look at
there.
Petty
Oh boy.
going underneath
Look
Susie.
at this.
Oh,
Look
that
at
is
wide.
this
cluster.
run by Casey Kane.
Oh!
Contact. Was that contact there?
I don't believe it
It was
was.
awfully close.
Not yet.
These
Well, it looked like
guys,
the middle car made a hard right. I don't know if he hit his right rear.
you will know when they make contact.
They're still 3 wide.
These guys don't do contact well.
Yeah. That's why you saw the door slams. They are on each other's doors tight.
I love it. We said that Xfinity race is the best race we've seen so far. This race is definitely giving it a run for the money.
I just want
And
to
I
point
have-
out. Okay, Blade.
Go ahead, Robert. You good?
I was just going to point out he got clear first, and he is setting sail.
Yep, he is gone, and you can see Maddox Timmons got around Ty Dillon. It looks like Chubby Cheeks has as well.
Yeah, he'll fall back. He's way
Nobody's
too
gotten
aggressive.
around Jimmy Broadbent, by the way. I know we just looked at it. Nobody has passed Broadbent yet. So he's
I
still in
think-
between Timmons.
I think they are too busy battling with each other.
Yeah. So they're still battling Jimmy Johnson. That's what you love to see.
This is great, though. I almost kind of wish NASCAR went back to this freeway. It makes interesting.
And I'm honestly surprised Jimmy's holding on. Oh, Broadbent, that is. Considering, I guess he really only got lapped because of the pit stops, but, we all expected them to kind of drop and kind of be in the way for say, but, Jimmy will eventually be back in the way once they catch him, but I'm honestly surprised they're not catching him.
He's making a run. Yep. Saw it coming out of 3. Change cameras.
Chubby Cheeks to the inside of Maddox.
I think we're 3 wide again.
We are 3 wide again, and of course it would involve Jimmy Johnson. Because why wouldn't it?
The AI keep us on our toes, and this is another way to do so, and it has been fun.
Absolutely, this has been a great race so far. I'm loving every moment of it.
Thought Chubby was going to get clear there.
Not yet. They are still closing on Jimmy Broadbent, though, even while these guys are battling like this.
Kind of surprised, to be honest. It was mainly my point, coming to the green flag, James Love seemed like he had a short run car, which he's now making a run back at Cindric, but he fell back to 8th and really isn't coming back through the field like I thought he would.
No, and I think we saw that a little bit with Bobby Labonte once he got a little bit further back in the pack in the Xfinity race. As the guys that are kind of coming to the front now on this stage are Kubica and Andretti. We haven't seen them up at the front at all today, and here comes Andretti around the outside of Casey Kane.
Wasn't Jeff Gordon towards the front in the beginning as well?
Yes, he was. He was running, I believe he finished in the top 10 in the last stage. So, Joey Logano with a huge run to the outside of Marco Andretti.
Robbie Gordon.
There's the other Gordon, and we're going to go 3 wide, possibly in the 1. Nope. Obi-Wan Kenobi thinks better of it and backs out of it. Look at Robbie Gordon on the outside.
Wow.
And I will say that line, if you can hold it, is coming in.
Cousin Carl.
Oh, look at this.
And
Big send.
Yeah, what a send.
Send it. What a send. Absolutely. This is fantastic racing back here in this pack. Absolutely incredible job by all of these drivers. As Ricky Bobby's now looking to the outside of Austin Cindric. Certainly, we've seen that line is starting to come in and starting to work.
Well, Cindric's actually trying to make a pass on him because a couple laps ago, remember we were talking about Love making a run at Cindric. So Ricky Bobby maybe also with a long run car.
Guess I'd love to close the distance in there. Might try to sneak by Bobby here directly within the next lap.
Yeah, and certainly he's going to have the chance at it with Ricky Bobby running to the outside. Oh,
Oof.
they get a little close there, but no touching. Now James Love is going to be Ricky Bobby's inside.
I think Bobby might be a inside line car because every time I'm watching him come out of 2 on the high line, he gets tight and has to check up.
Absolutely. Anybody that's going to have that tight setup in their car is going to struggle on that high line.
SW Racing, by the way, in chat. KK needs to step his shit up. Owner not happy. Might take him back behind the woodshed after this one.
In fairness, Shane, you are beating all of the affiliated cars, so take that into consideration.
My man's out for a Sunday drive at this point. Golly.
And, you know, a lot of people gave crap for NASCAR back in the day for having such gaps. I didn't think we were going to see it, but it's here. That is a gap.
But that's what I'm saying, though. They're not even really pressuring Jimmy. Like, he's kind of just riding.
And you can kind of see it in the clouds now, though, too. It's starting to get a little bit darker. A little bit of that sun change.
Track's really not cooling off, and it's going down, I think, 3 degrees, but not like we thought it would.
It'll change once them lights kick on and it's fully dark out. What's helping these drivers? Yep.
Crew chief definitely got the setup right.
What's helping these drivers certainly right now is the overcast. They are obviously they're AI, but you know they're not having to go diving down into turn 1 with no vision because the sun's right in their eyes, and this track is terrible for that. So, with it being as overcast as it is, they're not really having to deal with that. I'm actually surprised that the track lights aren't already on. Cindric's going to look to the outside of Cabrera. He's not going to get it done.
I am shocked by these two. Cabrera, 2 good, decent. Well, I'll call him decent because I don't remember where he was after the first one, but 2 decent pit stops, getting him inside now the top 10. He's raced his way into the top 5. Cindric, I've pretty much been around the top 10, I believe, most of the race, but even he's starting to get up here towards the top 5 and kind of battle it out.
Absolutely.
Shane's not happy with Casey.
I can see that. I love it. Sadly, I don't believe we are allowed to fire because Ryan Hunter-Ray would have already been fired.
Oof. No faith.
I've said that on multiple occasions.
I don't know what they did to Blaney's car. I don't know if they made an adjustment to kind of get ready for the nighttime or what. But he's running a good 1/10 to 2/10 faster than everybody else each lap. He's running low 5s, and Maddox is running, well, there you go, a 6.2. Everybody else behind him, 7s.
Yeah, this is incredible to see from Blaney. This is a fantastic run, but what we know, they're going to have to make another pit stop.
Hey, the bigger gap you can get right now, the better off you're going to be, because we clearly know that these pit crews are not reliable.
No, they are not. And there's Casey Kane looking the inside of old Richard Petty, the king. But he's got some drafting help in the form of Brad Keselowski.
Cindric kind of showing, I guess I'll call him the kid Chase Cabrera, because I think he's the youngest one on my Cup team, actually. But Cindric kind of showing him the way around.
I think he might be the youngest driver in general.
Fair point.
Actually, no, Cindric is a year younger than Cabrera.
Well, the young gun's showing him the way around. And you got Blaney leading, kind of just out for a Sunday drive.
And the youngest driver in general, our points leader. James Love is all of 18 years old.
Still solidly sitting in 7th, but at the end of the day, though, still a long way to go. I don't even think we're halfway in this race. Actually, we are not.
Well, I can tell you one thing that will not change. James Love being the points leader when they come out. Unless he wrecks out and Kubica has a good day. Matt Orr came in second. I don't think that will stay the same.
Nah.
Not with him finishing 38th. I believe that's all of 3 points that he will gain. So. It's interesting that it's just now occurring that Maddox is putting pressure on Jimmy Broadbent.
Which, again, we touched on it in the Xfinity race. Could clean air be a factor? Which at this point, Blaney's so far ahead. Jimmy Broadbent's basically a clean air. You might get a little bit of dirty air, but not enough to kind of feel it and have it affect you that much. But yeah, I am shocked it took this long into stage 2 for these guys to even get close. And it's not even these guys; it's just Maddox right now.
Mm-hmm. As nobody else is near him.
These boys are getting into their own zip code at this point. And I'll be shocked, to be honest with you, because I don't think Blaney showed this type of speed all season so far.
No, I don't believe he has. As Conrad Timmons, kind of being the guy coming out of nowhere in this stage so far. He's come from pretty far back there to get himself up into the top 8.
The pit stops, he came out 16th or 17th.
Wait, did you mess up that car too?
What?
Conrad's car? Kind of looked like a Chevy for a second.
Looks right. At least from that angle.
Oh, it's so pixelated. Yeah, it's right. Okay.
Holy smokes!
So you just messed up his teammate, that's all.
My man can put it in cruise control. This is correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, this is the most dominating performance we've seen to date so far. He's got a full straightaway on these guys.
A track. Yeah, almost had a track.
Yeah, this is an incredible job by Ryan Blaney right now. I don't think we've seen this large of a gap all season. Even at the road course.
The 717. 949. So even still, 10th faster than everybody. He's in a 6, Maddox with a 7. Everybody else is 9s or worse.
I don't know what they put in that car, but I think it's illegal.
Something.
Definitely going to feel take a post race.
Yeah, he shot out of a rocket to say the least.
Get some jet fuel in that car.
But his teammates too, though.
Yeah,
I'd
but
definitely be interested to see it.
They're not as dominant.
Well, for what they've done this season, this is. I'll take it. Then you got Willie B. Just doing Willie B things.
Yep, he's about average for what he's been. I think I might have just lost the Discord stream.
Yeah, but I say I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Good call, fellas. Un
I
memento.
lost the Discord stream.
Ladies and gents, this is what happens when you do AI broadcasting.
Just some minor technical difficulties in the booth. That's all.
We're back. We good?
We're back. Yep.
And I
didn't know you left.
I had to deal with something.
Oh, well, you missed us talking about the dominating performance that we're seeing.
That your team's putting on?
I mean, he definitely is dominating. No doubt about it.
Whoa.
Mm.
A solid over-under move.
Casey Kane's trying to get into that top 10. He wants those stage points.
I think old
Right
Shane got
on
off the hauler and came down to the pit box and kind of told him,
What's
hey,
what?
get on it.
And we're getting a little bit of close racing between Susie and Conrad. Now the King's going to look to the inside. Old Casey Kane's going to look to the outside. See what happens here as they dive into one. Casey's going to go up top. The King's going to go low. He's going to lose momentum probably coming out of the corner. And here comes Casey Kane.
I'm pretty sure Shane got down there and told him, hey, you might want to step it up. Your future's on the line, even though it's only your first race in this league.
And we get old Richard Petty now looking back to his inside. Great move by him to get back to that spot. Certainly, I think Casey had to check up for the guys behind him as Marco has kind of cleared this pack. He's been battling with Carl Edwards all race long. Just all race long. So it's kind of interesting to see that Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, they've been in the kind of group of being right at the cusp of being in the lead pack, but not really being in it, if you will, or being in the stage points. That's what it's the stage points.
Yeah, I picked up what you put down.
As Casey Kane now looks at can he get by Susie? That's the last spot he needs to get those stage points. We'll see if his pit crew can do what they need to do to get him those stage points. And it's kind of, we focus on it because it is such a big deal with the stage points. No matter who it is, where they're racing, you want those stage points because we've got 16 races, and while we haven't had a repeat winner yet, I'm sure somebody's going to repeat at some point in the season.
You would think so, but we've seen crazy things.
Yeah, I can't see 16 different winners throughout the regular season.
I mean, you never know. People, the owners get the ratings, buffed up a little bit. Different aggressions, different optimism, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could create some interesting finishes down the road.
Absolutely. We almost saw our first repeat winner of the whole ordeal in the Xfinity series.
Yeah. Trucks and GT4 kind of, a little harder to kind of get a repeat being they're off so much. I think if GT4 were to ran, quote unquote, this week, the third week of the season, I think you might have had your best shot with Kimmy. I think that title's going to be cool with him and Mick.
Especially going to Watkins Glen, which is more of a Kimmy track than
Ooh.
has been a Mick track.
Something to point out that I'm kind of noticing too. We talked about Jimmy not really necessarily holding these guys up because they're not even really pressuring him, to be honest. But they got clear, being Blaney and Timmins, and they both set sail. And Blaney's got Timmins by 7 seconds still, but Timmins has cleared this group of Ty Dillon, Chubby Cheeks, and Austin Cindric by 3.5 seconds.
And I just want to point out, I saw it a little further back. One of the coolest things I've seen. Coming off of the corner, the two affiliated cars teamed up, and Marco Andretti looked like he was actually pushing Casey Kane to try to get him past Josh Susie going into one. As Marco is going to send it in there and get right up to the door.
Which you wide.
And look at Carl
We're 3
Edwards.
Oh, getting tight.
We are getting tight. They're certainly putting on a show for us today. Is Casey Kane with the late dive to the outside.
That inside line, see if he can stick strong here and get the run. Nope.
It's not looking like it. It's
the
actually
King looks
looking
like he's going to do that run.
Oh, the
Yeah,
King said,
absolutely.
hold my beer, boys. I will show you the way around the top.
Absolutely. So certainly we're seeing that top line can work as Marco Andretti is going to send it in there, and I think he just barely might clear him here. No.
No.
The Kane's going to get a run back, yeah.
Momentum.
And Casey Kane, he cleared Susie, and he's coming after James Love now. So certainly you would think maybe Shane getting a little bit happier with Casey now.
If the King will quit getting tight out of 2, he would clear him no problem coming out.
Well, and I think what helped him on that one going through the middle of the corner, it looked like Marco got really tight. And even right there, it seems like each time Marco looks like he's about to clear the King, he gets tight and the King's able to come back on the exit of the corner. But I think the King might be, well, he actually clears them both that time.
So
now he's going to hunt Susie.
Towards the front, I noticed Cabrera went from 4th to 8th. Got back by Ricky Bobby for 7th. So I don't really know what's there. But it looks like these guys are battling once. I don't know, Petty to the inside of Susie now.
Yep. But it's no longer the stage point spot. They're catching back up to Casey Kane, though. Casey's like, no, go away. I don't want you here.
My owner got off my back finally. Stop it.
I'm in the stage points. I'm going to do something good. Go away.
The run. Look at the run.
He's going to pick him off, too.
Incredible run. Yeah, he's going to get such a run, even on down to Casey Kane. Casey's going to hold steadfast on the outside. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Will it be kind of what we saw with Richard Petty versus Marco Andretti, where he can get that low line going and then the high line just starts fighting back?
So something we've been talking about, Nick, as far as Blaney's concerned, what did that crew do under the caution? Make him better going into the night. You could almost, I would say, counter argue that statement with what did James Love's crew do, kind of take him out of this race. He went from running with Blaney 1st and 2nd to, at this point, looking outside of stage points.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as much what his crew did. It was more what he did on that restart. He just kind of got stuck behind traffic.
Yeah, and that's,
very well could be. But I expected him to charge back through the field with how dominant he was too.
Absolutely, and here comes Casey Kane getting a great run on that inside line. He's going to maybe send this thing on the inside here going into 3. We'll see. Certainly, we know who will. It's Richard Petty behind the both of them. As it looks like Casey Kane is going to clear James Love, and now James Love is under fire for the last spot in the stage. Now, of course, we've got 20 or 30 laps to go. Just about 32, I think it is. And pit stops probably
15.
Yep. It's not much farther. Old Matt DiBenedetto versus Truex, and then we've got Kubica versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he still hasn't fallen all the way to the back of the pack with whatever damage he might have. It's Jimmy Johnson.
I think it's safe to say he won't get lapped this time.
Well, you say that.
Let's check. Where's the leader? And then where's the last car on the lead lap?
Yeah, but, he didn't really get lapped until the pit stops.
Fair point.
So. We got some good battles all around the track, really. And certainly another driver that we have to question. What happened? Jeff Gordon. That car has fallen off. I mean, he started, what was it, 3rd or 2nd?
Second.
Second, yeah. So,
thinking track changes have made a big impact on these cars.
Track's actually gotten hotter by 1? I think it was, 85 when we went back green?
Yes, it was.
So track really not changing, I would say, other than maybe like rubber getting laid down, but I don't know. I think I'll stick to it because obviously these guys are open setup, being the AI. Maybe getting dialed out. Trying to predict what's going to happen and maybe going a little bit too aggressive too early.
And what you can also kind of see on both sides of the racetrack, look at that lighter line, but it's getting darker with each time they run on that higher side. As I believe the lights have kicked on.
Yeah, it does look like the lights are now coming on as it's starting to get real dark out here.
As there goes Marco Andretti to the real
on
there. Yep, they have kicked on. Richard Petty getting a run, maybe on James Love. He is going to look to his inside here going into 3. But he's going to just kind of fall back as, Susie gets real close to Marco Andretti there. And I don't know, that was the closest I think I've seen anybody get without making contact if they didn't make contact.
So we missed this pass up here, but Cindric got around Ty Dillon for third. So they still haven't gotten by Broadbent.
No.
And these
in
guys
fact, I
now
think he's
are
pulled away from them.
half a track behind the leader at this point. About.
This has been an incredible run through this stage by Ryan Blaney.
And you could argue too, Maddox Timmons, because I mean, if it wasn't for Blaney, if Blaney had a bad stop and fell back to like where James Love's at or something, we're not talking about Blaney's 7-second gap over Timmons. We're talking about Timmons' 6-second gap over Cindric.
Absolutely. So it goes in both ways. Right? They're both having a great stage. I mean, and you can't take it away from any of the guys that are in the stage point at this point. Seeing what Casey Kane has done to get into the stage point, seeing even the guys just on the outside, Marco Andretti, Carl Edwards, these guys that have run from the back to get up to the front to try to get these stage points, and just the incredible racing that has been going on throughout this entire event. As now I mentioned Marco Andretti, and he's trying to push past Richard Petty. He's really been making that. Yeah, he's really been making that high line work through 3 and 4.
And that second seam.
Absolutely. So, as he really made that high line work that time. Wow. Able to hold off Richard Petty and then just send it down to the inside of James Love. And they just about made contact 2 times. An incredible run there. So I don't think he really wants to be the low line car, but he certainly didn't have the option with James Love.
We're approaching pit stops. We're about 5 laps or so. They're on 55 laps on this stint here. So, 5 laps was what we saw in that first stage by around lap 60. So, and you remember the first 2 that pitted the first time would be Blaney and James Love. Obviously, James Love not running second at this point, but we'll keep an eye on it and see if Blaney, hits the short pit again and ultimately gain him even more time than what he's at right now. We're about to go 3 wide again.
Absolutely. Marco Andretti does think better of it and decides, oh, I'll just back out of that one. And just kind of falls back in line. But certainly a huge run he had there, as now it's Casey Kane looking to the inside of James Love again. Try to get his position back. So what I've kind of been noticing too, pretty much everybody is starting to get super tight on that inside group.
Absolutely, they're definitely checking up.
As if there might be just too much rubber on that inside groove.
It's possible. This is the most rubber, they've obviously run on practice, obviously just kind of taken with what the Xfinity guys left and running with that. So very well could be, and it could be too, now that lights are on, the sun's obviously getting further and further down, moon starting to come up a little bit more, track, we assume cooling off, track could be changing.
Mm-hmm. All these changes, and certainly, well, we know how the cars are. You can make small changes. These guys can make small changes as well. Wedge, whatever it might be. I think a spring rubber on a pit stop. I don't think you're going to make that spring rubber change during a green flag stop. And you know what I just thought of while saying that exact words? Those could be what the longer pit stops are.
It's true.
Those kind of spring rubber changes, because they take so much longer to actually do, to make those kind of changes to the car.
I think the race between Blaney and Timmons there would be a lot closer if there wasn't such a big gap. They run about identical lap times.
Well,
even Cindric for that matter now too, right about the same as what Blaney's putting down.
And we'll have to see how the pit stops go here. Once they get to them, got to be coming up pretty quickly at this point.
Yeah, this time by right here is lap 60. So this time hitting pit road would have been when Blaney pitted the first time.
And we'll see. It's not looking like it's going to be this time for him. We'll have to see if it is for anybody else. Because that could be huge. Whoever gets on pit road, I think, first is going to have a serious advantage. It's going to be, and I don't know that it's serious enough to say get you out in front of Blaney. I don't think anybody's close enough for that.
No, yeah, because even the third place right now is teammate and Cindric's 12.2 seconds back. I think even if you gain, say, 4 seconds on pit road, I don't think you're making up 8 seconds on track, unless he were to stay out, 5-6 laps. But
challenging for the 5th spot.
Blaney stays out again.
And it's not really looking like anybody else is coming in yet. So they're really pushing the bounds of it on this one.
As Cabre starting to fall back. Remember, he was up to, I believe, 4th at one point.
As it's Marco Andretti making the challenge on
There we go.
James Walt behind you. And here comes Ryan Blaney. And we'll see. It doesn't look like Maddox is going to come in, so he's going to make his decision. Cindric's going to stay out. Will it be James Love coming in alone again? It might just be those two. That might be their... No, he's not even going to come in. It looks like it's just Blaney by himself.
Very interesting call there.
I believe it's the right call, though.
Oh, absolutely. 100% the right call. Crew chief is dialed in for his team tonight.
Hey, here we go.
Mr.
10 minutes to the next lap. Looks like Cindric's going to stay out unless he makes a late move.
Yeah, it looks like Cindric is staying out. Jimmy Broadbent going to come in as well with
So
Timmons.
Cindric, I believe, going to lead his first lap of his career.
Yes, I believe he does. And we've got a huge battle going on here. We'll see if these guys can get to pit road when they want to.
So Timmons was the only guy to pit this time.
This is really intriguing. And Cindric still isn't pitting yet.
So this, I mean, if anything, this is just hurting him. It's Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon really locks it up trying to get to pit road. That was the worst lockup I've seen yet.
Once again, this is actually going to be what I should have went to.
He's
So Dillon,
the only guy. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Here come two more cars in the back there.
that would be, kind of waiting for it to pop up here. A couple guys in the back. It looks like it's Bowman and Rusty Wallace back there. And there's Blaney, who, even after his pit stop, still running by himself.
I think that gap's even bigger now.
And here comes Cindric and everybody else. And this would be...
Oh, Rick!
Caution, caution.
Big
Are we
Rick.
gonna have, I think that's a caution.
Like a
It
birthday
is.
cake
That
or
has got to
bar
be
or
a
anything
caution,
like that.
absolutely. It hasn't thrown it, has it?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay. Well,
So we're going to have to try and figure out.
what just happened there?
So this was back by Cindric. Is it these two? Kane. Oh, Jimmy Broadbent. That'd be Brad K.
I think that's where it is.
I do too.
And
Everybody's
Keselowski
sticking up.
Toad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
what a
What a hard-
hard hit. Yeah,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
was definitely a hit a ton there.
He tried hitting pit road.
And the problem there was that Broadbent had already pitted, so he didn't need to come down pit road, but Keselowski did, so he was in the way.
Keselowski did.
You know, that
so.
reminds me of Kevin Harvick and Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Auto Club.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to see what that does, because everybody was obviously on pit road when the caution came out.
And they're all a lap down now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's 13 cars on the lead lap right now.
Wow.
First one lap down is being Maddox, as you know, Ricky Bobby, James Love, Carl Edwards, Byron, Truex, Kubica, Stewart, Timmy Hill, Stats, all yet to pit. And then from here on back, so Blaney, Dillon, Cindric, actually the only 3 on the lead lap right now, because they all were on pit road and completed their service.
That is now all these guys, because they are in front of those guys. are going to get the wave around. Maddox actually gets the lucky dog, but all the other guys are going to get the wave around. You would assume. I can't see them pitting after just hitting. Literally, the caution came out while they were on pit road.
So this will be
Yeah.
interesting.
Very.
We'll have same two cars. Broadbent. Well, actually, Broadbent didn't tow. He actually drove his car back, still on track. So this will be interesting. One, to see what happens here, because as you can see, I'm not sure what's.
I guess that's where they're supposed to be.
I guess time of
Okay,
caution.
then. Well, that sucks for those guys because they're not getting a waiver around.
So that'd be Logano, Matty D, Gordon.
And I'd actually pay attention to the front real quick to see what the idiots are going to do, because we all know they're idiots.
As far as these get the rest of them.
Yeah, all of them in front of these guys.
That would be.
No, in front of them.
I'm getting there.
Okay. And it looks like they are making the correct decision. With the exception of Jimmy Broadbent, who obviously is still making the correct decision.
So this will be interesting. So that'll take us from, as we're going to go one more. So that'll take us from our two cars we had last time
to a lot more.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
23rd to 34th.
Yep, that sounds about right.
We're
And
actually
what a
making it around with no
shakeup!
issues.
Maddox is got to be the tail end because he's the lucky dog.
Lucky dog. Yep.
Oof.
Absolutely.
So I pointed it out. Blaney, short pitted again. Obviously, the caution kind of helping here. He's on 6 laps in this stint. Ty Dillon 4, Cindric 3. These guys have no laps on their tires besides this caution.
Mm-hmm. So, and look at the shakeup. I want you to really quick go back again. Kubica in 6th. He was 20 something before that. It just so happened that the timing that he had stayed out, the caution comes out. Kubica, Tony Stewart, Truex. These guys weren't anywhere near stage points.
Yeah, Truex, or Stewart, I would argue, was like low 30, high 20. Byron was like 22nd. So, yeah, definitely interesting to say the least.
And
I'm confused.
Yeah, I didn't see any
this
of
guy-
the
it
cars
showed-
that were supposed to be lapped down. They all got
it
on
shows-
the outside line.
Yeah, it shows Conrad being on the time and the score in the 17th, and he's sitting in 4th. So I'm confused.
Well, he's technically not 4th. He's 17th.
It didn't give these guys the waiver round.
Yeah, but he's not lapped down. That's why I'm confused.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
It's
it
going to
didn't give
start
these
them
guys.
in front of the leader.
Yeah, it didn't give them the waiver round like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm following.
So I think, don't we usually throw the caution and waive those guys?
I don't think we've ever had this happen. Normally,
I think
it's lucky dog.
Okay. Well,
Let
we'll
it
go with
play
these
out.
guys
What
trying. We'll go with these guys trying to hold on to their spot. They only got to do it for 8 laps.
Maybe 7
Actually,
once
I think
state the
it's 7,
green.
yeah.
Green flag.
Oh boy.
And they all
Moved
missed
again.
first.
This could potentially shake up the stage win as well, because it looks like Blaney's going to pick the wrong line.
Yeah, and he's going to have a challenge from Ty Dillon.
Watch James Love. I mentioned it. Them fresh tires, no laps compared to Blaney's at this level right now, 8.
Well, and now Ricky Bobby looks like he's going to be the one challenging there. And you could see Blaney certainly faster. Bowman's going to send that thing.
Oh, here comes Love.
But
Looks like
Cindric's there
something
as
wrong
well.
with Ty Dillon's car. He's dropping.
Oof.
He's
Love's
dropping
playing
quick.
no games. He wants the stage win. never mind.
Absolutely.
So timing and scoring is trying to figure this out just as good, just
Yeah,
as
it's
good as
bad.
I am.
Yeah, I was confused because I thought it said third, then it said 10th, and then it went to first. So I was like, okay, I screwed up there, but I didn't. I was right.
So 5 to go in the stage.
And it looks like Casey Kane probably in the safest spot he could be in. And now you could see, we get a little bit of contact there. What do you think?
Do you think maybe Ty Dillon, he was on pit road when the caution came out. Do you think maybe he was taking 2 tires and that's why?
It's certainly possible. As you could see, Ryan Blaney, the dominator of stage 2, falling into the clutches of the rest of the field.
He's definitely trapped. That's for sure.
And here comes Kubica on his outside. So this is a huge shakeup to the way that this stage is going to finish out. As we mentioned, the guy of the race so far, Ricky Bobby, he's now looking at possibly challenging James Love for the stage win.
The way these lappers are battling, anything's possible right now.
Absolutely, and they only have a couple more laps, and it's what's really intriguing about this whole battle. These guys, all these lappers, want to stay on the whoopsies.
I didn't even hit anything. I think ATVO is crashing.
Uh-oh. Well, it's showing that the whole thing is paused.
Yeah, the whole thing's frozen.
I'm froze.
Is the server crashing? What's going on here?
And technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's to say the least, because I have no sound, no nothing.
They are still driving.
Yeah, they are still driving.
Hello?
It was like once you went live, it just did away with it again.
This is new to me.
Well, get back in the car real quick, because it seemed to work. And then just don't go live. Yeah. At least don't go live. Well, actually, first throw caution.
It's definitely stage.
Caution.
Because it is the end of the
Quickly
stage.
tell me what you think you had there.
Now, don't go live by hitting the live button. Try and fast forward to live. James Love did win the stage. Nope, still.
Wow.
As soon as you go live. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as it goes to live.
Well, then you're just gonna have to go race, and we'll have to be behind a little bit.
It's something right here. That's where they cut out. So something happened.
It's as soon as it catches up to live. I don't know what it is, but when you go race and go into replay, they're fine.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be live because I go to reverse. It's something happens right here that the computer didn't like or ATVO didn't like or something. Watch right here.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, this is a doozy.
Because as soon as you hit race, it goes back. It's continuing.
Yeah, but it stops here. So something, it's like out of time or something. Because watch, as soon as it hits 136.02, it just stops.
Yeah.
The hell?
Good options, maybe.
Alright, well, real quick, I'm going to do